Hey y'all, it's your Maru. If you're an incoming jet, there's a good chance you're excited, nervous, and maybe slightly terrified about your first day teaching in Japan. Before moving to Japan, I taught preschool and kindergarten for about 5 years. So while I had teaching experience, I didn't speak a lick of Japanese. I had all these images in my head of standing in a room full of students, completely embarrassing myself. So if you're feeling a little overwhelmed right now, I want to tell you what your first few days and weeks will probably be like. And the good news is, they're probably not as scary as you're imagining. I spent months worrying about lesson plans, classroom management, and whether my students would even like me. And then I arrived and spent more time just trying to figure out what I was supposed to be doing. I was even late to a couple of classes because I confused the schedule times between a couple of my schools. And I was worried people would think I was totally incompetent. But looking back, everyone knew I was new. No one expected me to have everything figured out. Your first few days are usually less about teaching and more about figuring out how your school operates. And of course, ESID, every situation is different. I know. Your experience might not look like mine, or the jet living in the next town over. But most new jets go through some version of this adjustment period. I personally spent the first week giving my self-introduction to all of my classes and answering questions from students and teachers. I also spent a lot of time meeting people, getting introduced to staff, learning my schedule, finding my classrooms, and trying to remember everyone's names. And honestly, that's fine. Another thing I wasn't prepared for was how overwhelming everything felt at first. And not necessarily in a bad way, just a lot. New country, new job, new language, new coworkers, new routines. Even simple things like taking out the trash, going grocery shopping, or finding my way around town suddenly required more energy and courage than they used to. So if you find yourself exhausted during the first few weeks, that's completely normal. You're adjusting to a lot more than just a new job. Allow yourself to believe that, all things considered, you're doing great. Something I wish someone had told me was that your students probably won't remember whether your self introduction was perfect. They won't remember if you made a small mistake, if they notice at all. What they will remember is how you made them feel. Were you approachable, patient? Did you smile in class? Did you try to learn their names? Those things matter far more than having the perfect lesson. One mistake I see a lot of ALTs make, new and broken in, new and not, is putting too much pressure on themselves, myself included. You don't need to become the best teacher in the world in your first month, telling my past self. You don't need perfect Japanese. You don't need perfect lessons. You don't need every student to love English, as wonderful as that would be. Your job during those first few weeks, and honestly, maybe even the first few months, is mostly to learn. Learn about your school, learn about your students, learn about your community, and learn what kind of teacher you want to be. Another thing I want to mention that I actually recently talked to an ALT friend about when they were struggling to connect with students is that some students are going to seem completely uninterested in you. They're kids, teenagers. That's normal. Japanese students are notoriously shy. Some are tired. Some just don't like English. Try not to take it personally. And you know what? Students notice more than we realize, even when they don't show it. While I was teaching, I spent a lot of time worrying about whether I was doing a good job because some students just refused to interact with me. By the time I left, some of the students I thought barely remembered me were giving me goodbye cards and messages. That was a good reminder that you don't always see the impact that you're having in the moment. And finally, I'd say this: give yourself permission to be the new kid. You know, you don't need to have everything figured out immediately. You don't need perfect Japanese. You don't need perfect lessons. Every ALT starts somewhere. Every ALT has awkward moments. I still have mine pretty much every day. And before you know it, the things that feel overwhelming today will become part of your normal routine. And a few years from now, you'll probably look back and laugh at some of the things you were worried about right now. So take a deep breath, ask questions, be kind to yourself, and enjoy the experience. Good luck and welcome to Japan.